Welcome to On Point Live, another edition of the Great Big Show here today. I'm your host, Michael Horn, the star of our show, a man with a long torso, Mr. Vince Ferragamo, the outstanding quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams, Green Bay Packers, the Buffalo Bills. They need him desperately now. And, of course, the offensive lineman of the year, Hall of Famer, the one and only Mr. Jackie Slater, the man who's low and ready to go at any moment to make that catch. Welcome, gentlemen. How you doing this week?
Good, very good, Michael. Man, I'm looking forward to these next 2 weeks, preparation for Super Bowl 59. Wow,
It'll be exciting.
It's
be exciting.
Great weekend games.
Especially after that last weekend of shows. Did we all pick the Washington Commanders?
We sure
It's
did.
unbelievable. I still can't believe it.
What in
Against
the world?
everything that I believe and hold dear to my heart, I fell into this past game conversation, reading books and all that stuff, and I made a bad decision.
We were just over believers in the young quarterback. That's all, Jackie.
yeah,
Our producer, the guru, he
picked.
picked Philadelphia. Was that the team? I think he picked. Yeah. We'll have some more talk about that as we go. I want to remind you that you got to check us out on our website, onpointlive.net. You've been working on the website, Vince. You told me some things are going to be changing on there.
You can look at our YouTube broadcast. You can see all of our Instagram takes and our shorts. Yeah, it's really fun.
On.point.live on Instagram and our website, onpointlive.net. And then there's our sponsor, Harmony Cheese. They are great. Probably one of the leaders in cheese tasting is our very own Jackie Slater. Jackie.
Absolutely.
You still got that display?
Abergele, smoked Gouda.
Cheddar.
Cheddar.
How about the Merlot cheddar, too, Jackie?
Yes, the
That's
Merlot
good, too.
cheddar is excellent.
In fact, you have discovered hamburgers all over again because you placed on it Harmony Cheese. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I placed Harmony cheese on that. I placed it on French toast, put it in the oven, toast it a little bit.
And your
Have
mac
you
and
ever
cheese,
done that?
you could put it in mac and
you
cheese,
put a little
too.
butter on your
I put it in my eggs,
Yeah.
and I eat it straight, by the way. That's the way you like it with your wine. Vince Ferragamo got the great Ferragamo wines, right?
Yeah. Carissa J.
Wine,
Carissa J.
crackers and cheese, and just great hors d'oeuvres kind of stuff.
Don't forget to enter our contest.
You
We're
can build
giving
a
away
nice charcuterie board.
a cheese pack that you can make your own charcuterie board with, along with a bottle of Vince's wine, and we're going to be awarding one and giving them away here on the show. Register. Go email your address to us, onpoint@crntalk.com. Again, that's onpoint@crntalk.com. That'll be just a good one for you to enter. We had some winners last week on the show.
We sure did. They were from the East Coast, too, so we've got viewers from all over the place.
All the way
I
back.
understand they're starving for cheese on the East Coast, so we'll try to bring you the best we can. Got a lot to talk about this week. Last weekend's games. There's one more football game left. We can talk about that last game.
Yeah.
Biggest of the
one
year.
Final game. I don't know who could be in that game.
A few years ago, we'd have 2 football games left. The Pro Bowl
Stay
would be one of
tuned.
them.
Yeah, we'll get them to you. Stay with us. On Point. Welcome back to On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn, the stars of our show, Vince Ferragamo. A guy who blew out his wrist at a Pro Bowl one time, Jackie Slater, also here with us. Jackie, there were 2 games. Just before the break, you were talking about that there was the Super Bowl and then the Pro Bowl. That doesn't happen anymore. What happened to the Pro Bowl?
Well, the Pro Bowl just evaporated.
We should bring it back.
There was a time when we went there and we competed. In fact, for an offensive lineman, it was always a very serious contest because most of the time the defensive linemen were the ones that were winning the MVP award, which was a brand new car. So we had to be doing our jobs over there. Now, with these contracts being what they are, what we found a few years back that the guys were going to the Pro Bowls and just laying down on the field, and the fans were watching and they were saying, "This isn't football." So once they concluded that there was no competition going on, they decided to reduce the risk of injuries for the guys that were there to play, and then give them incentive to compete in friendly games.
And also, Mike,
those games aren't football.
They also had super teams following the Super Bowl, too, as well, so to earn a little extra money. But today's game, they make so much money that there's no desire to play in some of these games because there's no extra money involved. I mean, they don't have to make
Let me ask you this. If you got a car, did they give you, I think all of us fans want to know, did they give you like a stripped-down model, or was it like fully loaded?
No, it was a brand new sponsor. It was if Ford was the sponsor, it was a brand new Ford pickup, or a brand new Ford Bronco. Whoever the sponsor was that gave this really, really nice car. The winners, by the way, would win $5,000 to play in the game, and the losers got $2,500. Now that subsequently went way up the amount of money you would get for winning the game versus losing it, but nobody competed in the games, and that's why they cut it out.
And now they play flag football.
You have a truck, Pro Bowl. Did you win it there?
I never went to the Pro Bowl,
okay.
But I tell you, I
should have.
I endorsed, Thorson GMC Buick.
He just bought some new tires.
So
he just bought some new tires.
Mr. Thorson, if you're out there, he's free to endorse again.
Right. Here we go again.
In the meantime, we got some good. HarmonyCheese.com is our sponsor. We're getting into the time. Valentine's Day, everything. Everybody gives candy. They give all this stuff. I say a nice evening with maybe a little champagne, some good Vince Ferragamo red wine, make a charcuterie board, as Jackie has talked about. You and that special someone with a little Harmony Cheese would be the way to go. HarmonyCheese.com. Check it out.
It is definitely the way to go.
Now, let's go. Let's take a look back here because I ate a lot of cheese. There were some games here. The first game. Oh, yeah. I mean, we all picked Washington. Our producer, Guru Corey, picked Philadelphia, but then he changed his mind with me and went Washington when we had to put it down for money, and then we really lost our shirts. All right, so it was the Eagles 55, the Commanders 23. What the heck happened here, guys? Starting with you, Vince.
Well, the Philadelphia rushed for 7 touchdowns. Okay, on the ground. That's more than the Dallas Cowboys had all year long.
All season long.
Jalen Hurts was responsible for a couple of those, and of course Saquon Barkley's had a tremendous year, up for MVP ballot, up for Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, this guy has turned it around. So looking forward, we thought that maybe their passing game might have had a deficit of some sort with A.J. Brown. They're not in connection, but that all changed in that championship game. They were awesome. He threw for over 300 yards. He was just.
They got back to being who they were, Vince.
They really were.
And that was the thing that for me, I sit and I see A.J. Brown sitting over on the sideline reading a book, which I have never seen before.
That bothered you, and he does that.
It bothered me,
especially
in light of the fact that they were struggling with their passing offense. But the thing that disappoints me about myself in this particular case is that I know for a fact what I'm looking at when I look at their offensive line, from their left tackle all the way across to Lane Johnson, their right tackle. And what I see when I watch them is one of the biggest, most physical, smartest group of men that I've seen play this game in a long time. And not only that, but whoever is coaching this offensive line and coordinating this offense are consistently putting them in a position to be successful.
Hey, Kellen Moore.
They're letting them run the ball. They're beating pass rush out of some of the best pass rushers that are playing right now, and I'm disappointed in myself for underestimating the importance of that in the big games. You can run the ball in the big games, you can win, and if you can stop the run in the big games,
they had a play where they called it tush push, which is like a quarterback sneak, and they've had such great success with that over the years. The last couple, Jalen Hurts can squat 600 pounds. I mean, what they do is they push from the backside and after the snap of the ball. Well, Washington was trying to jump the gun, and they happened to exceed the line of scrimmage 3 times until they were warned by the referees. This happens one more time, we're going to award the touchdown.
Stop there.
Absolutely.
Where did that rule come from?
Never heard of it.
What's it called? It's called a palpable unfair act.
The palpable
unfair
act. And so if they warn you 1 or 2 times, and then if you don't listen, they give the other team 7 points. Are you kidding me?
Well, if they're on the 1-inch line, you cannot move the ball any closer if you get down to the 1-inch line. So, I mean, and then obviously they're going to score anyway from that point. And they made the touchdown, obviously. Another running touchdown. Jackie, and when you run the ball like that consistently, you control the game. But, just as equally as good as they were on offense, they were on defense because they stopped Jayden Daniels. They held him under check. Okay, and a lot of it has to do with Vic Fangio having the number 1 defense in the league.
Yeah, and then don't forget this. If you turn the football over, how many times do I have to say this? If you turn the football over 2 times, you got an 80% chance of losing these games, and they had 4 turnovers.
4 turnovers.
3 fumbles and an interception. And I thought Jayden Daniels played well.
Yeah, he did.
But you've turned the football over, you forfeited an opportunity. But the one thing, guys, and don't forget this, it reigns true. It's never going to change in this game, in my opinion. If you got bigger, more powerful human beings like the 6'6", 360-pound right guard that they have next to Lane Johnson, arguably the best right tackle in all of pro football.
He's 6'8".
And then a backside, blindside left
6'9".
tackle that's 6'8" or 6'9", 360 pounds.
You're looking up to those
You got
guys,
a very good chance. You got a very good chance of winning football games. I would hate to see what John Robinson, the old coach with the Rams, would have done with a group of guys that big.
Yeah, big guy. And the game started off with Saquon Barkley just took off, and they had the run going for him.
First play of the game.
Fake jet sweep, toss left, and he took the ball, Jackie, and he went 60 yards, in a flash.
In the history.
But
in the history
but
of
they
the
do,
National
But,
Football
Jack, you
League.
mentioned the offensive line. They do as good a job blocking downfield on running plays
With the
as they do
receivers.
at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
Their
they do.
center, Jurgen, he got outside.
Oh, yeah.
Just like what's his name used to do?
Kelsey, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, same kind of thing, same offense,
it.
but, very sophisticated running attack.
Very sophisticated.
Jackie, you've become our historian here on this show. You've got a lot of history going on there. In the history of football, no one's done that run?
Well, I mean, there was one other game where on the first play of the game, in a playoff game, there was a touchdown score. It was like a 63-yard pass in that particular play. But in the history of the National Football League, there has never been a running back take the opening play of their first drive in that game all the way to the house. And Saquon Barkley, who in my opinion is going to be this year's Offensive Player of the Year.
You think so?
He did that, yeah.
Well, Jack, he had 9 rushes over 50 yards per rush this
Right.
year. That's
Absolutely.
the highest in NFL since 2000.
And
Absolutely.
the Eagles, as you mentioned, Vince, they had more rushing touchdowns, 7, than the Cowboys had all year, which is 6. But the Cowboys have that new coach going for them, so they should turn
let's
things
not
around.
get started on that
We'll
one.
get into that later.
my God.
Aaron Donald, the legend there, says that the Eagles defensive tackle Jalen Carter is the next all-time great. Those are pretty high words of
Some
praise.
heavy words. Heavy words coming from
And
Aaron
he's
Donald.
only a second year, too,
Only in his
Jackie.
second year.
But he is unstoppable. He's much like Chris Jones with the Chiefs. I mean, he's very talented, and if he goes one-on-one, watch out.
He's explosive.
I mean, he can get
He's
by
the type of guy that will beat good technique, if you know what I mean.
But Jack, he's not only strong, but he's pretty quick. But
Yeah.
he's stronger than
he's
he is
strong.
quick.
That explosiveness. He's the
Powerful.
type of guy that's the way he's built and the way he focuses on playing with leverage. He can get into you with a shoulder, not even have his hands on you, and get movement and blow up a play, blow you up and the play. He's a pretty dynamic player to watch.
The Eagles have a finalist for NFL honors for MVP. Saquon Barkley is there. Also, Saquon for Offensive Player of the Year. We're going to be talking about that when we come back. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick break. Time to go out and get yourself some HarmonyCheese.com. Make a little order up and take care of that. Check us out with our podcast that goes out, our video podcast, On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. Make sure and say that you like it when you go and take a look at it, right? And our website is onpointlive.net. That's onpointlive.net. And if you get a chance, send us your name and address. Email it to us, onpoint@crntalk.com. Give us your name, address. We're going to be selecting more winners for a Harmony Cheese Pack and Vince Ferragamo wine. We'll be back on Point Live. Go check it out, onpoint@crntalk.com. We are back on Point Live. I'm Michael Horn, along with the stars of our show, the great Vince Ferragamo, the incredible Jackie Slater, and you, our audience. Don't forget, follow us on Instagram, on.point.live, and enter to win a Harmony cheese pack and Vince Ferragamo wine. Tell them about your winery, Vince.
Well, the Vince Ferragamo Vineyards, we specialize, of course, in Italian varietals. The Sangiovese we do blend it with Cabernet Franc. It's a family favorite, grown right in Orange County, California, which is really not known for doing a lot of production of wine, but we really cherish the wine, and it's a great family favorite.
You go back
Goes
to
with food.
the breadbasket of our country back in Wisconsin, and you get some of that Harmony cheese. Go to harmonycheese.com, order it, sent all over the country. Pair it with your wine, and what do you get? Some deliciousness, huh?
Delicious pairings, and it goes down well with food.
After
So
our
it's
show
good.
goes off the air, Jackie disappears for a week and then comes back. We got to wipe the cheese there. There's a little Merlot cheese.
One of the things I like to add, with crackers, do you ever get any of that fig preserves?
Yes.
The fig
yeah.
preserves.
Figs and nuts.
Then you can get a plum
Little
preserve
honey,
with the rind.
Jackie?
Yeah.
A little honey with
But a little plum preserve with the rind on that.
Oh, that's
and
good
then you
too.
put it on a cracker with the cheese. Oh man.
Follow it down with a glass
It'll
of
make
wine.
it'll make a puppy pull a freight train.
We're going to do, Jackie, we need to do pairings
heavy lifting.
with Harmony Cheese with you. We're going to put together a couple of things. Our producer, Corey, don't let me forget that, Guru Corey Marino, we'll put together some of your favorites with Harmony Cheese and the different things you put on there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have Bree and Jerry there at Harmony Cheese help us out as well.
That would be fantastic.
Okay, so let's take a look now. The Kansas City Chiefs. By the way, we mentioned the Eagles there. They've got a few finalists in for NFL honors. MVP Saquon Barkley is also up for Offensive Player of the Year. Zach Braun for Defensive Player of the Year. You guys like Cooper DeJean, Rookie of the Year. Quentin Mitchell, Rookie of the Year, and you like Vic, don't
Vic
you?
Fangio, for sure. You know,
for
he's Defensive Coordinator of the Year. But I tell you what, it's great to assemble a defense like that, especially with two rookies on your team, and to have the success that he's had in the number one defense in the league. And, you know, they don't turn the ball over, Jackie. So this Philadelphia team, that's the reason why they're in the Super Bowl this year.
And, you know, one of the things that we're not talking about is the executive of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the executive of the year is a guy who, yes, he has the ability to look at the physical needs and technical needs of your football team relative to the players. But he also has the ability to pick unique leadership to guide those players. And pulling all that together, there is nobody in the National Football League right now doing that any better than Howie Roseman. This guy,
I bet he's from the Rams.
From the Philadelphia Eagles.
I thought we had
nobody.
Yes.
Okay.
There's nobody
all
doing
right,
this any
okay.
better.
The general manager, and Jackie, he has the chemistry that he understands the way to get these players to play well together, to be great teammates. And just like the Chiefs are the same way. These are why these two teams, and the Bills were the same way. Washington was that way. Well-built, well-together teams. And a lot of it has to do with the people who are assembling the team,
the people who
acquiring these players through the draft, through trades.
Think about it. We're talking about the MVP of the league as a player, the offensive player of the year. Philadelphia.
Rookies of the year.
Defensive player of the year. Rookie of the year. Two of them. And then assistant coach of the year. We're talking about players and coaches on one of the best team in the NFC for a number of years. If you ask you Vince and I.
Now, hold on a second.
And these guys were pulled together by this one guy right here. And I bet you don't weigh 200 pounds.
Two words, Andy Reid, when you talk coaching there. This guy gets the game going. Let's look at that game. We'll start with you, Jackie. The Chiefs outlasting the Buffalo Bills 32 to 29.
It's incredible. And that's one game that when we were asked to make our picks last week, I had no reservations about who I thought would win that game. I am never ever wanting to go against Andy Reid. I might have to reconsider, think a little bit longer about it this week because I really love what Philadelphia is doing on the offensive side of the ball. But, I mean, Andy Reid, man, you're talking about situational football, situational football. We've been hearing a lot about situational football ever since, you look back at Belichick and all the different situations that he was successful in and winning championships in when he was at the Patriots. Nobody's doing that any better right now than Andy Reid and his staff. They are just fabulous. The defensive coordinator, Vince, loves this guy, putting pressure on you when you least I mean, it's outstanding to watch, to see the production of the overall team here. This is a total team effort when they win their games.
Vince, before the game, and Jackie, we were talking with Guru Corey Marino and yours truly here. The Kansas City Chiefs, they'll find a way to come up late in the game and win the game. And part of that has to go to maybe the best quarterback in the NFL right now, Patrick Mahomes. You played that position. What do you think, Vince?
Well, first, it always starts with the quarterback and the leadership and the ability how he has to set an example for the team. But I think when you look at the consistency level of this team offensively, the last 7 years, they've been in the Super Bowl 5 years now. Here's a chance to win three consecutive.
It speaks for itself.
They've been in two prior Super Bowls, losing one and winning one. They were in 2 AFC championship games. So every year they're right at the end. So this just doesn't happen. This starts at the top to the bottom, developing a team, starting with the quarterback, the coach, and Andy Reid. And now on defense, they have Chris Jones. They've got Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator, calling plays. They have the best secondary in football. They find ways, as you mentioned, Mike, they've won so many games this year by one-score game. What does that mean? They just know how to win. They know how to turn it up when they have to turn it up. And, they got a great tight end. They have a great connection between quarterback and coach. They have a great running back. I mean, they bring in Hunt, who come in, Kareem Hunt, and he's taking over Pacheco. Now Pacheco's getting back healthy again. And so the team is resilient. It keeps coming back, but it makes the play when they have to.
The tight end keeps rearing his head.
Right, but it's the ingenuity. It's the play calling, Jackie. It's on defense. They call a quarterback or a corner blitz. Okay, they did a corner blitz, shook up Josh Allen because of the speed of the rush. Okay, then they're moving Chris Jones all over the place. They got Karlaitis, who's making play after play. A secondary that can cover man-to-man or zone. They just know how to defend their opponent because they're putting their game plan based on what the team they're playing that week.
Vince, it's funny you say that. I saw a play in their game this past week where they overloaded the protection on one side, which meant the back, if anything showed on the backside, the back had to take what was off the guard's edge. The guard has to take the most pressing guy. So what they did was they walked a guy up in the A gap on the backside away from the turn, away from where the center was going to the guard, and that signals now that the guard's got to drop Jones and hop there. What the guard did was he dropped Jones to pick the guy up in the A gap.
Mistake.
And he dropped, and when he dropped, the back went out, and Chris Jones came right up the field untouched. It was just a fabulous scheme.
Yeah. It's a scheme.
Knowing exactly what that offensive line was going to do when they presented pressure in the A-gap.
Back and forth. You can't sneeze at Josh Allen. He had a pretty good game in that one. I mean, it could have gone either way.
He really did. He's one of the few quarterbacks that have won so many games based on just his own individual talent. But, they've also lost 3 times to the Chiefs.
Tough. That's tough.
Okay, they don't turn the ball over, and they have 3 touchdowns to their favor, but they still have lost the 3 games. So
in all three of those games, no turnovers.
Yes.
And how many points?
3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns.
Yeah, in every game.
Now, 140 games. In 140 games, only 19 games have been lost that way.
And 3 of them have been
have been lost
against the Chiefs.
Against the Chiefs.
Getting back to Josh Allen, did he cross that first down line, in the game when they were arguing about that?
No, it was showing up on the, when the play is called at the field, okay, there has to be enough evidence to overturn that call. And there wasn't really enough. His back was to the line of scrimmage. You couldn't really see the ball. The ball never really, in my mind, crossed the plane of the line to gain. Well, so that's what happened.
Now see, Vince, this is where I disagree with you, because those referees are given strict instructions about where to put their feet based on where their eyes tell them that ball has hit the ground. Now, when we looked at that one that's in question, the receiver, the referee from the top of the screen that was walking towards the camera, he saw where the ball was, he put his foot there, and he stayed on that track walking toward the middle of the field. The other referee, he couldn't see because bodies were in front of him. And he gauged his mark on the other referee, and then he moved short. He came up stepping in there short, and he was a little bit more assertive than the guy who marked it the first time, and they let him mark the ball.
Well,
came up short.
Too much referee, not enough looking at the knee. This is on
Way
TV.
Too much
this
referee.
is on.
You
this
just
is
have
on
to
news
make
stories.
the play clear cut.
But
and you are playing in foreign territory.
Right.
So you're not playing at home. So you have to come with a game plan. Say, if we're going to make a first down, we got to make it clear cut. Okay,
but
we're not going to make it just marginal.
Are the refs
we're not going to get the call.
Are the refs too much involved in the game? Because we're hearing it on newscasts. I see newscasts commenting on it, and that's the perception. I personally don't think they are, but I mean, when you start coming up with these rules that haven't been called, here's 7 points if you go ahead and push back too much. I mean, this is it gets a little. The referee is getting involved.
The palpable rule.
Palpable rule. Thank you very much.
Any marginal calls, come on, they can go either way. But you just got to make it clear cut and take the subjectivity out of the refereeing, because it's getting to be a problem.
There's one thing I will share with you guys, and this indicates that there is fairness. Patrick Mahomes, people tackling him have been penalized 36 times for hitting him late and stuff.
Yeah.
But Josh Allen's been tackled late, and those people have been penalized 66 times.
Really?
Which says,
where'd you get that one?
Which says,
did our producer Corey give you that?
Yeah, if you think they're getting the calls with the Chiefs, you're wrong.
All right.
They're just outplaying.
Break time.
Absolutely.
We're coming back to look at the Super Bowl, but first a reminder, check out our sponsor, HarmonyCheese.com. They are the people to go to get the best cheese, I'll tell you. Appergelli, the Merlot cheese, so much more. Go check them out at HarmonyCheese.com, HARMONY, HarmonyCheese.com. Check us out. Email us your address to win a Harmony Cheese Pack. On point at crntalk.com. On point at crntalk.com. It is On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. We'll be right back. We are back on Point Live. I'm Michael Horn, the stars of our show, Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater. Our sponsor, OnPointLive.com, is our website, and we want to remind you that you want to go to HarmonyCheese.com and get some of the great cheese packs that we have and a whole lot more. Also, email us your name and address, and if you want to say hello to the guys, we'll read them on the air. OnPoint at crntalk.com. Give us your name and address so we can enter you in a contest to win the HarmonyCheese.com cheese package and the Vince Ferragamo wine paired carefully with that delicious cheese. Go to OnPoint at crntalk.com. All right, one of our regular features here, better lucky than good. What do you got for us, Vince Ferragamo?
Well, both teams, they're both good, so you don't really have to be lucky to win. But there was a play, Jackie, in this game that I saw that was...
Which one?
It was the pass to Xavier Worthy. It was down the field. Patrick Mahomes threw the ball to him, probably about a 40-yard pass. And Worthy had a great game. He was instrumental in this passing attack. But this one particular play was up for grabs. The defender actually come up with the ball. Looked like he intercepted it. And then as they hit the ground, Worthy comes up with the ball, but it hits the ground. Again, another ball is it in control or it's not in complete control? The ball hit the ground. They call it a completion.
The ref,
so it was like, whoa, we got this call.
Last time we had this conversation, it was not a completion.
It was. I know it. So, but this time it was, and it gave them a first down. Obviously, they go in to score. So, I mean, hey, if you get those plays, you get them. I mean, sometimes, but it's the effort that counts. You guys, never gave up on the ball.
These guys,
Jackie.
when a game is on, we got to get you in on the texting little information that we have here. These guys go back and forth. Corey Marino's in there. I'll throw in a little comment sometimes, and they'll ignore it. But I got to tell you, you got to check it out. And you always have comments, Jackie Slater. What is your "What in the World" segment this week? What in the world?
Well, I mean, this is my "What in the World."
Yeah.
After all of my association with this great game that I love, that Vince and I love, after blocking with the Los Angeles Rams for all the years I did, and having over 7 guys to have 1,000-yard seasons, and understanding how devastating a great pass rusher can be, and how you can neutralize him with your ability to run the ball, I'm very disappointed in myself.
What in the world?
I'm very disappointed in myself for not picking the Philadelphia Eagles and their offensive line.
What in the world?
To
I'm with you.
dominate
It's
the
my
last
what in
game.
the world.
That's a what in the world.
We all picked the Washington.
That is a what in the
I don't
world.
even
I
have
cannot believe it. I love their offensive line.
The heck's wrong with you, Jackie?
I love the way they run the ball.
We
their
keyed off him, didn't we?
Their quarterback can get yards on the ground.
He's awesome.
There's no
Jalen
way
Hurts
I
been
should
playing
have.
great.
No way I should have picked against Philadelphia.
All right, clean slate, Super Bowl coming up here in the not-too-distant future. What do we got here? Let's figure out what's going on here on this rematch. We'll start with you, Jackie Slater.
Well, this is the way I see it. It's hard for me, and I said this last week, it's hard for me to go against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Primarily because situational football for them has been their benchmark. They don't lose an ideal situation. The situation is always ideal for them, should I say. They don't lose. On the other hand, my heart tells me that if I were playing in this game, I would probably be a part of the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. And I know that with a gritty, determined effort by everyone to run the ball and feature the physicality of the big offensive line, they have a chance to beat anybody. So in this particular game, Am I supposed to make my pick now?
Go ahead.
You're hammering the table.
Tell me I don't have to make my pick right now.
It was 3 hammers
I
down.
have
Go
to make my
for it.
pick
Go
right now.
for it.
Can I sleep on the time too?
We got a show
say
next
now.
We got
week.
on the show next week. I'll let you know next week.
Right now. What do you think right now?
Well, right now I'm inclined to not go against Andy Reid.
Yes, me too.
Okay, there you go.
There you go. Now,
Oh, boy.
let's go to Vince Ferragamo. What do you got?
Well, I'll tell you, so far.
Are you going to go with the Commanders again?
No, the Chiefs. No, they're gone.
We all
They're
did.
out of it. But the Chiefs have a chance to make history. Okay, we
Yes.
talked about it a couple of weeks ago. What's the biggest thing that's on the horizon?
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
the Chiefs being able to win 3 in a row, 3 Super Bowls in a row. That's never been done in history. So I think that motivation itself. The Eagles have their best roster they've ever had on this squad. That's pretty amazing. And you have probably the number 1 quarterback in the NFL and the most underrated quarterback. But I don't think he's underrated, Jalen Hurts, and I think he's been up to snuff. I mean, he plays hurt. He's a good team leader, and he's a good example setter for
Vince,
this
what
team.
about his numbers in the last Super Bowl?
Okay.
How do you beat those numbers?
That's a great question, Jackie. So the mindset of a quarterback, hey, I did everything I could in the last Super Bowl. We still lost by 3 points. I mean, he led in the history of the NFL, no quarterback's ever rushed for 70 yards in a Super Bowl game. He threw a touchdown. He threw over 305 yards in this game. You can't play a near perfect game like that and think, well, what do I have to do better? Well, the only thing you can do is, again, focus and look back at your team. Okay, your teammates. Say, I have the best teammates. I have the best running back in football. I have the best defense in football. We're going to live off of what we do best. And that's going to take his mind off any inferiority that he might have or any misconceptions.
Is that what you do? I mean, you guys
have to
both
look
of you,
positive.
You guys
Gotta
played
look
at
at the
Super Bowl 14. It was on CBS at the time.
Right.
You get into these teams have met a couple of times here, and you've had Philadelphia going up against Kansas City. Does it get into your head that you might go ahead and do everything you can do, and you can't make it? I mean, is that how you block it out? What do you do?
Well, I think in my instance, Jackie, we were going against the Steelers. You know, they were probably
Who was
the
that
best team in the
quarterback?
history of
What
the
was the name
NFL.
of that?
Bradshaw.
Oh, yeah.
man,
That was, though, the first time they started their big run. You guys played them very tough.
Yes, but they thought we were going to beat them because I can still remember throwing a block, rolling over the sideline, and standing up and looking in Terry Bradshaw's face, and he was practically in tears. He thought they were going to lose that game.
Listen to that one, Terry, and answer it sometime. Come in and be our guest.
Well,
yeah.
the steel curtain defense was awesome too, Jackie. But you know what? Again, you almost would lose sleep thinking about who you're going to play. But when you think about the guys that you have on your side, my offensive line would play heart to heart for any of those guys, and I believed in our team, and so that was a comfort zone for us, and it really made me more comfortable as a young quarterback back in the pocket, thinking I can do whatever I want because I got the best guys in front of me. So you have to think about on positive in whatever you do, and even if it's on the biggest scene that you've ever played. And so, you know, we had it till the end, till Jack Lambert jumped in front of one of those balls.
Jack Lambert, boy.
We had our shots. We had our chance.
How about that Frank Corral kick? All right, so Andy Reid, the winningest head coach for both teams in the Super Bowl now. NFL TV Gold, you're going to have Tom Brady commenting on this. That should make the game kind of fun, don't you think?
Yeah, I think Tom's had a good analysis all year long. I think he gives a different perspective for the game. He really understands the game better than almost anybody else out there. And, you know, quarterbacks look at a lot of different things during the course of a game. That's why their analysis is kind of fun to listen to.
Yes.
Jackie,
Tony Romo, same way. Troy Aikman.
We haven't talked about Saquon Barkley is added this year as a new piece in there. He's on Philly. What do you think there?
Well, just like I was saying earlier, if you don't feature this guy, you're not calling a really good game as an offensive coordinator. And like Vince was saying, I mean, when you get to games like this, you have to put your best foot forward.
Yep.
And if your best foot forward is a combination of Saquon Barkley running off tackle, of Lane Johnson on the right side, and Kai Beckman over there, 360 and 340 pounds, then you better do that if you're to have a snowball's chance in Hades of winning that game.
All right, Taylor Swift, what does she mean to this game?
Don't you love Taylor? You know what I like about Taylor? And I don't
I'm
have
sure
I
there's
don't
a lot.
and I
Go
don't have
ahead.
any daughters, but what I like about Taylor Swift is that she's bringing more young girl fans to the
And
game
young
and making
guy
them look
fans.
at it, make them look at the game a little bit more.
I think
tactfully,
it's exciting to me because I think it opens up a whole different avenue, to why people watch the game.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of music fans out there that love her music.
Right.
And they're a
into
younger
music?
following, and you attract viewers to the game. And I think it's fantastic.
And the whole
for the NFL.
saga between her and Kelsey is getting to be like a daytime drama, like one of those.
It's a soap opera.
Like a soap opera,
He makes her sing only her country songs, by the way. I don't know if that's true or not, but I kind of like that thought.
I like those
Okay,
songs.
so let's talk about some coaching changes. Here's the thing. Dallas did not have a very good year. They talked about Deion Sanders coming in there. They had a lot of choices over there. They might have made the ultimate great coaching decision with Brian Schottenheimer because he was with the team, saw how they lost, helped them lose those games. Now he's going to be in charge of the team.
Okay.
What do you think, Vince Ferragamo?
Let's move on. Okay.
Jackie,
move on.
to you now.
Let's forget about it.
you were supposed
Eberflus,
to
no,
answer
I'm not a fan.
Sorry.
I'm not
Benny
a fan.
was supposed
Sorry.
to start in on
I'm
that.
not a fan.
Now this is what Jerry Jones said. Jerry Jones said that, and he's a very active owner. A lot of owners aren't as active as he is, and he wants his team desperately to be the nation's #1 football team. So he's sitting in a meeting, and different subjects would come up in the meeting, and then different answers, and then from the corner he would hear an answer, and he would say to himself, "That makes the most sense." And he kept hearing these
He was
answers.
doing what you
And who-
did.
who
and
was
he's hearing
talking?
these answers.
Who was
He
giving those
heard it, and he
answers?
looked back over there, and he said, "That's my next coach." And that's how he
Brian
made the decision.
Schottenheimer.
That's how he made
We'll
the
see what
decision.
happens.
That
Okay,
he
the
was
Raiders.
always-
Pete Carroll
yeah.
coming out of the mothball fleet there. I think he might do a good job here, Pete.
me too.
Anybody
Me
could
too.
do a better
I
job.
do.
with
He's
the
going
Raiders.
to change the culture for sure, but
No
he
doubt.
believes in competition. Go and compete every day, and then he believes in teammates.
Right.
He wants good teammates, and I think that will energize this Raider team. I think you're going to see a much improved team.
What Vince just said is one of the truest statements, Vince, about this game that I've ever heard. You made that statement, and that is competitive. He wants to what he understands is how very important it is to compete. Now, let me tell you about competing, and you know this guy, Fred Dreyer and Jack Youngblood. Those were the two defensive ends at the Rams when I got there. Listen, I couldn't block them in practice. I couldn't run block them. I couldn't pass block them. They beat me with everything they know. And you know why they did it? Because they were working on their games. And they taught me how to be a pro by beating me in practice.
That's what you got to do.
You got to be able to compete. And that's what I like about, any
And didn't Freddie say to one of the coaches that you should be playing tackle and not guard? They injected you as a guard.
The coach had said they were going to move me into guard to replace Tom Mack, who had been there for 13 years. And Freddie Dreyer said to the coach, he said, "That's a great blanking idea." He said it with a straight face, and the guy looked at him as if to say, "Okay, you just told me what I need to do. Put Slater at tackle." And that's how it worked
Jerry
out.
Jones said, "Hire that guy." Heard that comment. That's good. Okay, so Chicago Bears. We got to give honorable mention to Ben Johnson. He's with the Bears. Come on, what can you do?
Why
there?
didn't Dallas grab him? I don't know.
I don't know.
They were slow to react, but Ben Johnson had a great season. Did so many wonderful things with Jared Goff. He's going to add a lot to this to Caleb Williams. And I tell you, they also have Thomas Brown now, who they hired as the defensive coordinator, didn't they, Jack? Or he went to the Patriots.
Yeah, he went to the Patriots.
Oh, I'm sorry, he went to. But Matt
And
Eberflus is out.
He's on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at the Jacksonville Jaguars. They got Liam Cohen here, and this guy, he put this Tampa Bay Bucks together. Baker Mayfield made him. You've been talking about this.
He's going to miss him. He's going to miss him because this guy was innovative. I liked what he did with Baker, and he's going to do the same thing with Trevor Lawrence. And this team, 2 years ago, they weren't far from being in the Super Bowl run. So they're going to be rejuvenated, I think, with this coach.
Jackie?
Vince, are you noticing the trend of ownership to bring in coaches that can support their highly touted players the most?
Oh, yes.
And,
for sure.
Most of these players that I'm talking about are quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. So when you look, if I'm an owner of a football team and I have a struggling Caleb Williams and nobody's ever able to get him going, then I'm likely to go and look for somebody who I'm seeing have great success working with a quarterback.
New York Jets,
And
new
he was
head
the
coach
one.
Aaron Glenn, because his name is Aaron. Will he bring Aaron Rodgers back?
Well, there's not much been said about that yet, so
Double
we'll have
A's.
to wait and see. But
Hey, Aaron-
he definitely will have to help the defense.
Aaron Glenn just got done coordinating the defense that had 24 starters missing.
All right, take a break. We're
24
coming
players.
back. Final segment. Don't forget to go to harmonycheese.com, onpointlive.net, our website. Email us, onpoint@crntalk.com. Give us your name and address. You're going to win a cheese pack at harmonycheese.com. Go check out their site, harmonycheese.com. We're back with more. Jackie Slater, Vince Ferragamo, I'm Mike Horton. Be back on Point Live. On Point Live, real quick, I'm Michael Horn with Jackie Slater, Vince Ferragamo. Let's go through the award show coming up on the 6th here. MVP, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, Saquon Barkley. What's your pick?
Oh, I'm going Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson.
Same here. Offensive Player of the Year, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Jamar Chase.
Rushing over 2,000 yards, Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley for
Saquon
me
here
as well.
Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, T.J. Watt, Zach Bond, Patrick Surtain. What do you think?
Myles Garrett for me.
Myles Garrett, too. For
I'm
me.
going Myles
Cleveland.
Garrett. What's going on here? Offensive Rookie of the Year. Commanders, Jayden Daniels,
You can stop
Bo
there.
Nix,
You can stop
Malik
right there.
Neighbors,
Stop there.
Brian Thomas Jr., Brock Bowers.
Jayden Daniels.
Jayden Daniels.
I
Not
got
hands
honorable
down,
mention to
Jayden
Bo
Daniels.
Nix for me, but I go Jalen. You're
Yeah,
right, too.
for sure.
Rookie of the Year, Braden Fisk, Jared Verse, Chop Robinson, Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. What do you think?
Well, the Rams had the youngest team. Two of those guys are up at the top of that list. I'm going to go with Jared Verse.
I'm going with Verse as well.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
take
going
Jared.
with Verse as well. Come on. Comeback
Russian
Player of the Year.
quarterbacks.
Joe Burrow, Sam Darnold, J.K. Dobbins, Christian Gonzalez, DeMar Hamlin. I'm going Sam Darnold of the Vikes.
Yeah, why not?
You
I
going
mean,
with him as well?
Oh, yes, Sam Darnold.
I'm inclined to do that, but Lamar Hamlin
go.
died on the field, and he came back and played considerable snaps this year, so I'm giving it to him.
Yeah, he did great.
I
too.
think it's be great for him to be honored that way.
All right, Coach of the Year, Dan Campbell of the Lions, Kevin O'Donnell, Vikes, Sean Payton, Broncos, Dan Quinn, Commanders, Andy Reid of the Chiefs.
I'm going with Kevin O'Connell, Vikings.
I'm going with Sean Payton because I think he did marvels with Bo Nix, and he had that team in the playoffs.
I'd like to say Andy Reid, but I'm going to go Sean Payton. But an honorable mention to Kevin O'Donnell of the Vikes. It's
Andy
going to be
Reid's going to have the Super Bowl trophy. So
Okay, Assistant Coach of the Year, Joe Brady for the Bills, Eagles, Vic Fangio, Lions, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn of the Lions, Vikings, Brian Flores. Who do you like?
For me, it's the new head coach of the New York Jets. How does Aaron Glenn keeps that team competitive after losing 24 defenders on it, including two of their best defenses?
Quickly, Vince.
I'm going with Vic Fangio, number one defense in the league, coaching two rookie players on the secondary. It's still number one
I'll
defense.
go with either of the Lions guys there on the New York Jets, but I'm going to go with Aaron Glenn because he's defense. Good defense beats the offense. That's our show,
very good.
guys. All right. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, harmonycheese.com. Email us your name and address. Enter our contest to win some Harmony Cheese and a Vince Ferragamo wine package. Go to onpoint@crntalk.com. Onpoint@crntalk.com. Check out the podcast On Point Live with Vince and Jackie on YouTube, onpointlive.net. See you next week. Thank you, gentlemen. Good show.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome, my friend.